So you want to learn how to swing. It's easy. Just like it says in this jazz chart, instead of playing eighth notes, play triplets. It's that easy. That's how to swing. Okay, maybe it's a little more involved. Welcome back. This is the third video in our series about rhythm. If you haven't watched the first two, I suggest you go back and start there because we're going to be building on everything we talked about so far. This video is going to be about swing, and this is a really hard video to make. The idea of swing can be really elusive. Sometimes swing can be academic and sterile, and sometimes it can be intangibly beautiful. But that's exactly why I wanted to make this video. I want to at least try to explain some of the things that I've figured out in the last 10 or 15 years that I wish that I had been told sooner. Of course, this won't cover everything about swing because it really can't, but my hope is that I can at least help lead you down a more interesting path. So, what is swing? To begin with, let's go back to our ruler analogy. In the last video about subdivision, we talked about dividing the measure into 8 eighth notes and 16 16th notes. For now, let's go back to just eighth notes. If we play a solid string of eighth notes just like this, that would be considered straight eighth notes. We're lining up more or less exactly with the metronome. To play with a swing feel, we delay all the upbeats, sliding them a little bit later, but keeping the downbeats right where they are. Now there's more space between each beat and the upbeat, and less space between each upbeat and the next downbeat. And this is how we get to that shorthand notation in jazz sheet music that we started with, where we kind of relate it to triplets. If you subdivide each beat into 3 notes, that's called a triplet. 1 lolly, 2 lolly, 3 lolly, 4 lolly, triplet, 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 daga da daga da daga da daga da. If we just play the first and third triplets of each beat, we get pretty much that same swing feel that we just played before. Triplet, 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 triplet. Meaning that to a certain extent, if you want to get a swing feel, you can just think, every time I see 2 eighth notes like this, I'm actually going to play this. But this brings us to the first really important, really elusive thing about swing. There are actually different types of swing. Sometimes in the jazz academic world, we end up treating swing as one specific type of feel, with the binary other option of straight. Hey, is this song straight or swung? The A sections are straight, but the bridge is swung. Killing, man. But in between completely straight eighth notes and a triplety swing feel, there's a lot of room. So you can have a feel that's just barely swung, where the upbeats are just a little bit late. Or you can play right in that sort of bouncy triplety zone that we played before. Or you can play a feel that swings really hard, meaning that the upbeat is really late, even later than the triplet. And really, anywhere in between those examples are all slightly different feels too. So let's practice this a little just to get the idea of what I'm talking about. We'll be playing an A minor chord and just the 3 highest notes of that chord. And as we've done before, I'll be using my left hand fingers just to loosely touch these strings to mute them. You can use your thumb, break all the school rules. I just do that so that, I can strum down. And, I don't have to be so careful with my strumming hand, and I'm just gonna get these 3 notes. We're going to use a rhythm called the Charleston, which is beat 1 and then the and of 2. So let's build this rhythm up from the ground. Let's just play a short down strum right on beat 1, and then just scratch along and play ghost notes for the rest of the measure, keeping the eighth notes totally straight. Now let's add the and of 2, which will be an up strum since it's on an upbeat, and play both notes short. Our goal here is to make everything as even as possible. So that's straight eighth notes. Let's add in some swing.
Well, no, I don't mean like just add some swing to something that doesn't even really call for that, just to jazz it up.
You know what? I'm sorry I mentioned that at all. Let's cleanse the palate. What's a better example? There we go. So let's practice what we just did, but add in some swing. So we're going to delay all the upbeats, and that goes for not only our chord on the and of 2, but also every other upbeat, even if it's a ghost note. So like we did before, let's start with just playing beat 1 and then scratching along ghost notes for the rest of the measure, but now we're going to be delaying the upbeats and playing with a swing feel. Now we'll add in the and of 2 on an up strum, but it's going to be delayed because it's swung. The up strum on the and of 2 is probably going to feel a little bit weird at first. You'll most likely be rushing it, meaning that you'll be playing it too early, which is why musicians say to lay it back, meaning play it later than you think you should. You can even try and see if you can actually play it too late, just to find the boundaries. It takes a long time to find the pocket, so slow meditative practice is the key. Keep in mind this is the time-lapse version of what should be maybe 20 minutes of practicing just this rhythm and really focusing on keeping your strumming hand loose and playing in the pocket. This brings us to the second weird thing about swing. The amount of swing can be affected a lot by the tempo. At slower tempos, there's a lot more room to play with different types of swing, especially swinging really hard. The faster you go, the lighter the swing has to be, simply because there's just less room to move the upbeats around. So let's listen to some recordings and see if we can hear some of this. We'll start by listening for what I was just talking about, how tempo affects swing. Even listening to the same player on the same album, you can hear this. Let's take the album Round About Midnight by Miles Davis, and we're just going to listen to Miles playing eighth notes at different tempos on different tracks. Track 3, All of You, is about 167 beats per minute, and you can hear a pretty clear swing in Miles's eighth notes. Da 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 da. So if the tempo's here, da 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 da. Straight eighth notes would be da 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 da. But he's playing da ga da ga da ga da ga da da. But now here's track 2, Alucha. It's a lot faster at 246 roughly BPM. So it's pretty close almost to straight eighth notes at this tempo. So it's not like a triplety swing, because that would be something like but that's not what he's doing. It's not perfectly straight, but to my ears it's a lot closer to straight than it is to like a triplety swing. At this tempo, the feeling of swing almost comes more from the accents than from the actual delaying of the upbeats. Okay, now let's listen to something a lot slower. This is track 4, Bye Bye Blackbird, which is down around 122 beats per minute. So obviously it's not straight. At this tempo, straight eighth notes would be dun 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 dun. Triplety feel would be dun 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 dun. To my ears, he's close to a triplety feel, but it's swung even a little bit harder on some places. And at this tempo, there's so much room. You can even delay some of the downbeats and get a lot more character into the playing than just a sort of regular swing feel might be. Okay, holy moly, look at the time. This is Editing Chris here. I had fully intended to make this a one-part video, but I'm only halfway through this lesson and this video is getting way too long. So, you know what? Just go ahead, play that outro music. Yeah, there we go. Look, there's a lot more to this lesson. We haven't even gotten into the concept of swing and funk music. We've got 16th notes, the Isley Brothers, Stevie Ray Vaughan, this wacky shot, can't wait for that. So make sure you tune in to Swing Part 2. You might as well subscribe and hit that bell icon just to make sure you see it when it comes out. Oh, and hey, I just started a Patreon page. If you sign up, you'll be supporting this channel and you'll have access to a bunch of little videos I make about guitar, computers, life on the road, really anything you want to know about. And I'll even make your name dance on the outros of these videos, just like these awesome people. Look at them. Come on, you want to be part of that. So click the link in the description and join my Patreon. Okay, see you next time.